Imagine waking up one morning to discover that the prince of the realm has kidnapped the woman promised to another lord. A few months later, that same prince is dead. The king has been overthrown. An entire dynasty that ruled for nearly 300 years has been wiped out. But here's the twist. The story everyone in Westeros believes may not be the truth. This is the complete story of Robert's rebellion, the war that ended the dragon's reign, crowned a new king, and set in motion every major event in a song of ice and fire. To understand the rebellion, we have to begin with King Aerys II Targaryen. When Aerys first became king, many believed he would usher in a golden age. Instead, years of paranoia, humiliation, and fear transformed him into the infamous Mad King. He became obsessed with traitors. Friends became enemies. Loyal lords became suspects. Then came one disastrous event that pushed him completely over the edge. The defiance of Duskendale. King Aerys was captured by rebellious lords and held prisoner for months before being rescued by Ser Barristan Selmy. After that, Aerys trusted almost no one. He rarely left the Red Keep. He became fascinated with wildfire, and he grew increasingly dependent on his brutal bodyguard, the Kingsguard Knight Ser Gregor. No, the Kingsguard included men like Ser Arthur Dayne and Ser Jaime Lannister later. His enforcer was his fear itself, not one man. Meanwhile, another storm was quietly gathering. Prince Rhaegar Targaryen was everything his father wasn't. He was intelligent, respected, and deeply interested in ancient prophecies. At the great tourney at Harrenhal, Rhaegar defeated every challenger. Instead of crowning his wife, Elia Martell, as Queen of Love and Beauty, he crowned Lyanna Stark. The entire realm watched in stunned silence. Lyanna was already promised to Robert Baratheon. Whether this was a declaration of love, destiny, or politics remains one of the greatest mysteries in Westeros. When they finally found him, soon afterward, Rhaegar and Lyanna disappeared together. Most believed Rhaegar had abducted her. Others believe they willingly ran away. Regardless of the truth, the realm exploded. When Lyanna's older brother Brandon Stark heard the news, he rode straight to King's Landing in a fury. He demanded Prince Rhaegar come out and die. Instead, King Aerys arrested Brandon for treason. Then he summoned Brandon's father, Rickard Stark. Rickard believed he would receive a fair trial. Instead, Aerys staged one of the most horrifying executions in Westerosi history. Rickard was suspended above wildfire and burned alive. Brandon was placed in a strangling device. As Brandon desperately tried to save his father, the rope around his neck tightened with every movement. Father and son died together. It wasn't justice. It was murder, and it meant war. After executing the Starks, Aerys made another fatal mistake. He ordered Jon Arryn, Lord of the Vale, to surrender his two wards, Eddard Stark and Robert Baratheon. Jon Arryn refused. Instead, he raised his banners. With that single decision, Robert's rebellion had begun. The Vale, the North, and the Stormlands united. Soon the Riverlands joined after Eddard Stark married Catelyn Tully, while Jon Arryn married Lisa Tully to secure the alliance. The kingdom was splitting apart. Robert Baratheon quickly became the face of the rebellion. He was enormous, charismatic, and one of the greatest warriors of his generation. Wherever Robert fought, men followed. His victories became legendary. One of his greatest escapes came after the Battle of Ashford. Forced to flee, Robert hid inside the town of Stony September while royal forces searched every building. He didn't surrender. He grabbed his massive warhammer and fought. The Battle of the Bells became one of the rebellion's defining victories. Everything came down to one final confrontation, the Battle of the Trident. Nearly 40,000 men clashed at the Ruby Ford. Prince Rhaegar personally led the royal army. Robert led the rebels. The two commanders finally met in single combat. Robert wielded his enormous warhammer. Rhaegar fought with his ruby-studded armor and sword. Then came the blow that changed history. Robert's hammer smashed into Rhaegar's chest. The prince fell. Rubies scattered into the river, giving the battle its legendary image. With Rhaegar dead, the Targaryens had lost their greatest hope. Tywin Lannister had remained neutral throughout most of the war. Only after Rhaegar's death did he march toward King's Landing. King Aerys believed Tywin had come to help him. Instead, Tywin's army entered the city and began sacking it. Thousands died. As the city burned, Aerys ordered his pyromancers to ignite hidden caches of wildfire beneath King's Landing. He wanted to burn the entire city rather than lose his throne. One man stopped him, Ser Jaime Lannister. Breaking his sacred oath, Jaime killed the Mad King before the order could be carried out. It was the act that earned him the name, the Kingslayer. Meanwhile, Ser Gregor Clegane and Ser Amory Lorch murdered Princess Elia Martell and her young children, Prince Aegon and Princess Rhaenys, ending what appeared to be the main Targaryen line in the capital. The war wasn't quite over. Eddard Stark rode south to a lonely tower in Dorne. Waiting for him were 3 Kingsguard knights, including the legendary Ser Arthur Dayne, the Sword of the Morning. A brutal fight followed. Only Ned Stark and Howland Reed survived. Inside the tower, Lyanna Stark lay dying. She made Ned promise her something. The exact words remain unknown. That promise would shape the future of Westeros. Ned left carrying a newborn child. Years later, readers would learn that Jon was almost certainly not Ned's bastard, but the son of Lyanna Stark and Prince Rhaegar Targaryen. A secret powerful enough to ignite another war. Robert Baratheon became king. Viserys and Daenerys Targaryen escaped across the narrow sea. The Iron Throne belonged to House Baratheon, but victory came at a terrible cost. Thousands were dead. Ancient friendships were broken. The seeds of future betrayals had already been planted, and beneath King's Landing, the wildfire remained hidden, waiting. Robert's rebellion wasn't just another civil war. It destroyed a dynasty, created a new one, and built the fragile peace that would eventually collapse at the beginning of a Game of Thrones. Without Robert's rebellion, there's no Ned Stark, no War of the Five Kings, no Daenerys' quest for the Iron Throne, and perhaps no Song of Ice and Fire. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Westeros, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. Was Robert truly the rightful king, or was the Targaryen dynasty doomed by its own mistakes? Until next time, the histories of Westeros still have many stories left to tell.